Hey, what's going on? What's going on, guys? Hopefully the picture's a little better for you guys. Just prepping the road bed, getting ready to lay the track across the lift out section. How's everybody doing? I can't see any chats or anything yet. Let me see. It says swipe right. All right. Maybe nobody's said anything yet. How's everybody doing tonight? Hopefully good. Just doing a little prep work, getting ready to lay the track for the lift out section. Making sure everything's angled the way it needs to be for the ballast. Somebody would, whoever's watching, I can't really see, but you would write a comment. Okay, hey Pathfinder. I was waiting for that. I didn't know if I could see the comment or not. Is the picture better than it was this morning? Hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing. This is the lift out section here, and I'm just getting the road bed ready for track. Quality and everything, sound, everything good. All right, I think we're almost ready for track. Went ahead and already laid my track out previously. Got it soldered together for the curve section. I like to take my time, make sure the road bed is exactly how I need it and want it. I finally got my vacuum in, my new shop vac, but it's going to be a little loud, so I want to make sure that everybody can hear me as I'm doing this. So I can just come back and sweep all this and vacuum it later. Just want to make sure I get what I need to off the road bed so the track will sit flush. Okay, so that'll work. So all I'm doing now is just kind of pre-fitting everything to make sure everything's where I want it before I start to glue it down. All right. There we go. That's good. All right, so just gonna take a couple tacks here, keep it exactly where I want it. All right. And all I'm doing now is making sure everything's to my liking before I glue down. This is what I call the mock-up stage. Just to make sure there's no issues. And this is Atlas Flex Track that I'm using. And right now all I'm doing is using the guide holes in the rails, or in the ties I should say, to secure everything that it needs to be. Okay, so that's a little off there. So there we go. It's a little better. Hopefully you guys can see that. Yes, I am, Dwight. How you doing? Just laying the track here for the lift out section. Just getting everything ready there. It looks like what I'm going to have to do is mark right here, because this is where I'm going to have two I have two rails in the section here where I need to cut. I want to figure out exactly how I want to do that. Actually, I think I'll leave that alone. And then just when I use my Dremel. Hey, Harry, how you doing? What idea is that, Dwight? And hopefully, Dwight, the picture and all is better and you guys can hear me pretty good. All right, so it's better now. Okay, great. All right. So, which idea were you talking about there, Dwight? All right. So right now I like what I see. I was gonna super elevate this curve over on this side, but I don't think I'm going to. I think I'm gonna leave it as is, flat. I don't know. I mean, it wouldn't take much to make it super elevated. So what I'll do, and all I'm doing right now is I'm cutting my elevation strips for the outside rail so I can slide that underneath the ties. And it doesn't need to be perfect, because you think once you ballast it, everything will be hidden. Hey Rick, how you doing? But basically this is what I'm going to be using to elevate the curve. And I'll just come in here like so, and then just add them where I want. And if I need to trim them, I will. But then, as you can see, it works very nice. And what I've done before in the past, and it works for me, may not work for others, is once I lay my glue, I will slip these in underneath the rails and then let the glue just hold everything in place. So that's what I'll end up doing. So right now we're ready for glue. So I'll take the track back off and get ready for that. And then of course I'll be cutting the track here, and I'll be cutting the track here where this yellow push pin is. Slide that out like so. Everything's been done with the road bed. I'm just going over to make sure there's no dust or anything laying on it. Hey Jerry, how's it going? So for those of you that, I know I said in a previous video a couple nights ago that I use the Elmer's. I use the extra strong formula. It sets up pretty quickly, and like I said, for the time that I've been out in the shed, which has been about 2 years, I haven't had any issues with it coming up. So this is what I use. And in this area here, I'll go heavier just because that's where the cut's going to be made. But then I'll also come back too with some set screws, and I'll go on both sides of the rails to kind of help keep the rails in place so the rails don't move after they're cut. And it might look like I'm putting down a lot of glue. I'm really not. But and my trusty method of just spreading it with my finger. I have the best luck with that, and it works great. And I do that just so I can kind of, as I'm going along spreading the glue, I'm feeling for more imperfections, more or less pieces of road bed particles that have just kind of been laying around and I haven't felt. And this just kind of reassures me that my road bed is level, and that's why I use my finger. I mean, it's a little messier, but you know what? That's okay. And I'll put this on thick just in this area because this is where it's going to have the cut. All right. Getting getting somewhere now. And I tell you, this glue if I let it sit here for about 2 minutes, just letting the air hit it, it will get very tacky and will basically hold the track into place without any downward pressure with any type of tacks or paint cans, soup cans, whatever you decide to use to hold your track down. Within a couple of minutes, this holds it down pretty quickly. Ouch. All right. Got the first splinter of the day. So I'll let that set up. And like I said, when I come back, once I lay the track, I'll do thumbnails. Hey Rick, hey Sparky. So right now I don't have my laptop out here, so if I'm looking at the phone weird, it's only because the text is on this one side and I've got my tripod, which has got the prongs holding it up. So it's kind of why usually I'd have the tripod or the laptop out here and I'd be looking at it like that. But not tonight. Okay. So I will slowly slide these in if I can. All right, so look at that, found it. And you'll see what I mean here in a minute. I'm just going down, working it as I go. And this is getting pretty tacky. Now since this is brand new flex track, it has a little bit of spring to it. So it is wanting to move a little bit, but usually it will stay right into place. All right. So all I'm doing now is checking to make sure my rails are exactly where I want them, especially the rail joiners. Now, I know I said earlier, actually it might have been my last actual update, or was it an update video, or maybe my how-to video, that I won't solder the rails on the straight pieces. That is true, except for what is right here, only because it is going to be where the cut's going to be made. So I want to make sure that everything is good to go. And then I won't have to worry about that. And I kind of go crazy. I got a couple friends that make fun of me for using all the push pins, but it's my style and it works. So what can I say? And I'm just ever slightly tapping these down just to put some downward pressure on the track, just to kind of hold it in place a little bit. And the reason I'm doing it like that is because once you go through the road bed, trying to shove it into the plywood is kind of hard. So that's why I'm doing it that way. And as you can see, I'm not really worried about the curve yet, because I'll get to that here in a minute. I'm going to work my way down, make sure my track is centered. And once this is done, and I do my layout update, I'll come back and kind of show everybody how the track work looks, and you'll see it'll be pretty straight in this section. And note to point, don't put a lot of thumbtacks in your hand at one time, because you'll do what I just did and shove one into the palm of your hand because you closed your hand up. That's twice now. Ouch. Okay, that's 3 times in one day I've hurt myself while on live. So I gotta get a little better at this. So hopefully the video is doing much better this time around. I do apologize for earlier, but live and learn, right? Alright, so I'm at the point now to where I'm going to stop for a second. And I'm going to align my track. You may not be able to see it, but I'm actually setting my track with my fingers as I'm going down the line here. And I got off just a bit there. Not a big deal. Correct it. And all I'm trying to do is keep center. And as you can see, already a couple minutes, this section here is firmed up and it's holding itself right now. Of course, we won't trust that. Because as I say that, it will spring back just like it did. All right. So where I make my cuts at, I usually put two tacks. And that's just so I get a little bit more security there as I cut. And as you can see, it goes pretty quickly. Now, I know in my how-to video I talked about using like the double-sided adhesive tape, and that does work. You could probably get away with it if you were in a climate-controlled area 24/7. It wouldn't probably lose its stickiness, but out here, it loses its stickiness pretty good, especially in the summertime, because I don't always run the air condition. And I've never had any other problems other than just that. Even the glues, I've never had problems with any of the glues coming undone with the structures or anything like that. But, and trust me, here in Southern Maryland, it does get hot, especially with the humidity. So as you can see, I'm at the end here. I'm going to come back. I go a little crazy with my curves, with the push pins, just because I want to make sure it stays down. So what I'll do now is with the strips that I cut earlier for my elevation, I've got these here. Hey Steve, how you doing? And I will just slide them right underneath there, and the glue will actually keep them into place. And then I will have my elevated curves. And sometimes it can be a pain in the butt to get in there, but when I've done this before, I find this is the best way for me, and it works wonderful. And you don't have to put them back to back or end to end. You can skip a couple inches if you want. Usually I'll skip 3 or 4 ties, but you could probably go out a little bit further, and your curve's still going to be elevated, and you're not going to have any play as the train travels. It's not going to want to kind of wave through. So, but like I say, to each your own. We all have different ways of doing it, right or wrong. It's whatever is easiest and what works for you. And you guys can't see it, but this Elmer's glue over here on the curve, I took a little bit more time than I should have, and it is literally already starting to turn clear, which is not good because I'm still trying to get this cardstock in there, and I'm having troubles now because, there we go. Just using the little file with the point on the end of it to pick up as I'm doing this to kind of help out, and then the track will go right back into place. But as you can see, now I've got a nice little slope. Nice little elevation. And my peninsula elevation will actually be 2 cardstock thick. Or I might even use some styrene for that and get the right thickness there, because I want that really super elevated. Alright. So that's that. I'm going to put one here, just for good measures. Alright. And that's it. So, be careful, you might, yeah, I've already done that once. I guess you were here earlier when I did that. So I don't know if you guys can see that, but there is a nice little slant to the outer curve, slants inwards, which is what we want. So now comes the fun part. Let's see if I can cut my hand off with my Dremel. Now the fun part is trying to find my Dremel. Okay. All right. I swear it's here somewhere. Yep, found it. All right. Sounds like you're moving right along there, Sparky. All right. Oh, crap. You guys don't want to know what I just did. Hey, Dave. Broke the cutting wheel right off the end of it. Oh, wait, what did he... I am having difficulty right now. Ouch! Oh, it'd be a miracle if I do not make it into the hospital tonight. All right. Yeah. Ouch! All right, guys. I think I'm going to give up, because I am going to hurt myself here in a minute. No, I'm not actually giving up. I'm getting smarter. That's a such thing. Here soon, everybody will stop tuning in for trains and seeing what Darren's going to do next. What part of the body is he cutting this time? All right. I'm having issues with Smarter Not. I don't know, Rick. I'm actually working harder, and smarter at the same time. It is just not working for me today. All right, here we go. Yeah, it figures when you're doing a video. And this would even be worse if I was actually doing an actual video and recording it, because I would not edit this out and you guys would get the full picture of what's really going on here. And it is kicking my butt. All right. Classical Daring. Live entertainment on a Sunday night. Now I've got it. What it is I've got the one piece, the head bolt I can't get out. It keeps turning everything, even when I apply the button to keep it into place, and I can't get it to come out to save my life. What it is that bolt right there, and it is in there. It's one of those ones where you need almost a second pair of hands, because I don't think it's ever been changed. All right, let me find my other set. Hey, Tommy. Yeah, Sparky, I have these needle nose, but they're not working. And let me see if I don't have... Oh, found my channel locks. The bad thing is I have another head. I just don't know where I put it. Because when I moved everything around as I was redoing all the bench work... Oh, look at that. And we have it. Oh, that only took 10 minutes. So all that for that little screw. Just so I can put a new plate on. Wow. Hey, you know, and that's the good thing. The glue is almost dry. Right here. Here it's still wet a little bit where I put it on thicker. But I tell you, that Elmer's glue, I love it. Especially Sparky, I don't know what kind of glue you're using out in the shed, but I have found that the Elmer's glue works wonders out here. Now, Sparky, is your shed going to be climate controlled 24/7, or are you just going to have it controlled when you're in there? What plate am I using? As in cutting wheel? Alright, let's see here. Let's see what we can do. Am I going to have enough over here? Yep. Alright, guys. All right, and there we have it. All that work for that. What is your people? Where's my PPE, Tommy? I don't have it. It's a cutoff wheel, metal, not sanding. This one here, Rick. Yes, and I'm bad for that. As long as I've done landscaping and construction work, for those of you that have worked in that type of industry, know them things are bothersome a lot of times, and especially concrete work with the masks and everything. I recommend using the mask, but it's worse having them on sometimes than anything. But I do wear them. Today I did not wear my glasses. So now all I'm doing now is coming through and cutting that cardstock that I used. And I have a part of a rail here. There we go. And we've made the cut. All right, so what I do now, just so I don't have any derailments, I go back, reposition the track if it's moved, which it did just a bit, which is expected, especially with the glue drying. But since this is that is perfect. But since this is my only access point in and out of the shed, I really don't have time for everything to dry. But that's perfect. And what I'll do is I'll come back and I'll shore up the edges there. And then once everything sets, I will double check, make sure I don't have to do anything. And then I'll run my set screws on the inside. And they'll be painted black, so they'll blend in. But that'll keep the rails from moving left to right. And all I'm doing now is just putting the pins, and I could run trains over this right now, and it would be fine. So there you are. Nothing to it. And then what I'll do is I'll come back and I'll adjust the moving tie to close in my gap. And the same thing over here, which both are good. I'll adjust this way. And then that's pretty much it. All right. So I'm just setting some glue right in the first set of ties on both sides, doing it a little heavier. Once it dries clear. And then, like I said, once I come back tomorrow, I'll put my 2 set screws in, and that'll keep the lines perfectly, I don't know. You guys want to try? Let's see. Let's see what happens when you try to run trains with the pins. All right. There we go. Nope. And we derail. And then I knock it off. Did you guys see that? Nope. Good. Okay, great. Yep, that's what you get. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. It's not showing up on my screen, but there is a car right there. Let's see if I can adjust the camera a little bit. There we go. So, yep, up to that point. And that's it. I know it's probably weird to you guys, but the way the camera's set up, I've got 2 bars holding the phone. So, darn, we missed a train wreck. Yeah, actually, I knocked it off as I was coming around with it, and that's never a good thing. It'd help if I would align the trucks right. All right. So that's it. These rails are perfectly straight here. Bye. That's good to go. Like I said, I'll let it set up. And these rails are perfectly straight here. And let me grab the camera here, guys. All right, I'll get ready to move you here. And I will show you what it looks like. So you can't really get... Let's see if we can get a little closer for you guys. So as you can see, the cuts there, everything looks good. And then over here, everything looks wonderful there. All right. All right. So that's pretty much it. Now what I'll do tomorrow is, like I said, when I come back, everything's dried up. I'll take all the pins out. I'll check the alignment with my alignment tool to make sure everything's good. And if I have to tweak it just a bit, which I honestly don't think I will. And my wife is calling me. All right, here. Did you all hear that or no? Oh, really? It muted. Okay, great. That was the wife calling me. So, whoo. All right, so that is good to know. If you guys are using Prism with your phone and somebody calls you, it will absolutely mute the video so nobody can hear anything. So that was good. All right, so I'm trying to do this without messing the rails up. And I want to make sure I don't cause any harm. So what I'll do tomorrow is I'll come back and I'll take a file and I'll file all of this down. But as you can see, I was able to get it out. Now these rails do stick over a little bit, and the reason for that was when I did this particular side, I wasn't thinking. You'll see there's like 1/8 of an inch difference. So this is the framework, and then this is the plywood. I should have went flush, and I didn't. Not a big deal. Like I said, once I do put those set screws there, it won't go anywhere. And then I'll come back and I'll trim everything I have to there as well. Ouch. All right, so that's that. Set this up out of the way. And I'm just checking right now to make sure everything's still aligned. And the one thing that I noticed that I really didn't want to have to do, I didn't want to have my lift out or my cut on the curve, but there was really no other way of doing that unless I went to a smaller radius, and I just wasn't prepared to do that. So that's what I did. So what I'm doing now, I'm not sure if you guys can see it. I've got my track tool out. My alignment tool is what I call it, and perfect. So right now the rails are spaced, and I've got a splinter. Woo! Oh, that's a metal one too. That's gonna suck. Ouch. All right, you be prepared to see me cry on TV, or on stream, I should say. Let's see here. So that sits there perfectly. So I'm not going to have any issues with the track moving. Well, I've got that thumbtack out. I'm going to add a little bit more glue. And at this point, I don't really care if I'm going crazy with it, to be honest with you. Only because it's going to help out in the long run. And that's what I want. I want it to make sure the stability is going to be there with everything, and it will be. But also being out here and not really a climate controlled area all the time, that's the reason why I'm going to set the set screws into place and just make sure that nothing moves. And all I'm going to do again, same thing. Gonna go check my alignment. Perfect. So I know exactly where that needs to go. And absolutely perfect. So when I set it all back into place, a little bit of filing. I'll set the screws into place first, actually, and then I'll do my filing, and it will be golden. So that's been done. I'm happy with it. I'm really glad I was able to get that part done, because that was the biggest section, because now I can get in and out of the door. So yeah, it got me pretty good too. I'll have to go in the house and dig it out. But all right, guys and gals, if there's any gals in here, thank you guys and gals watching. I plan on doing a layout update, hopefully Wednesday, of exactly. It'll cover some of this stuff. And then the second Sunday in February is when I'm going to start the Yard Chatter program. And the first Yard Chatter episode I'm going to do, Yard Chatter episode, will be of Dave's Crooked and Eastern River Railroad. And then like I said, if anybody else wants to want me to do a showcase on their railroad, send me over some pictures, a couple of videos at the email, and I'll get you in the second segment of that. And then the second Yard Chatter show I'll do a month will just basically be Shooting the Breeze and talking about rail stuff and model stuff and tips and tricks that the community's been going over. So we'll keep it fun, light, and airy. Hey, Dunk, how's it going? So I'll throw my email up here in a bit at the description. So if anybody would like to get with me and send me some information about their railroad, I'll do a showcase segment for you. Whatever the second weekend in February is, I can't remember. On that Sunday at 11 a.m. But other than that, guys, have a great weekend, what's left of it. And I'll catch up with you guys soon. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it.